Hi, today we're going to learn how to use VPN to stay secure and private online. Wow, this is a tough job. Just kidding. When you use NordVPN, all it takes is just a single click. See for yourself. Click, and you're browsing securely on public Wi-Fi. Click, your ISP can't see what you do online. Click, and you're in a different country. Well, virtually. Any device you have there, NordVPN has you covered. Everything else is just details. But if you care to know more, NordVPN has more than 5,000 servers all over the world. It protects your sensitive data with advanced encryption, shields you from malware and phishing sites, and keeps no logs of your online activity.
Click link in the description and get 68% discount for your first order. Taking a guided tour. Take the official 9/11 tour to learn about the events in the memorial. This is the most popular tour because it covers a broad overview of the events of the attack, the construction of the memorial, and the history of the World Trade Center. The tour guide will explain the symbolism of the memorial and how it relates to the past and future of the area. This tour is a 45-minute walking tour of only the memorial grounds. Pre-booking your tour isn't required unless you have specific time constraints or are making a reservation for a large group. The price of the tour itself is for all ages and tickets can be purchased at https://www.911memorial.org/memorial tours or at museum. Alternatively, you can buy a ticket to the tour that includes your admission to the museum. If you choose to visit the museum, it is recommended that you take the tour first. Once you leave the museum, you cannot re-enter. Opt for the youth and family tour if you're visiting with children. While the events of 9/11 are culturally important, they might be disturbing for younger children. The family tour explains the events of the attack in a way that is factual and accessible for kids ages 7–14 without being overly frightening. This tour is only offered on select dates through March-August, so be sure to book your tickets in advance at https://www.911memorial.org/tours. If you don't reserve your spot online, they may be sold out on the day of your visit. All children on the tour must be accompanied by an adult. Tickets are priced at for adults, for young adults ages 13–17, and for children ages 7–12. Take an early access tour to see the memorial in a more intimate setting. The early access tour begins at 8 a.m. and gives participants a behind-the-scenes look into the memorial and museum. This is a great option for individuals who have visited the memorial before and are interested. Tickets for the tour are and can be purchased in advance online at https://www.911memorial.org/early access. Like many of the tours, it is a walking tour and lasts approximately 60 minutes. Select the Uncommon Courage tour to learn about first responders on 9/11. The events of 9/11 caused the largest mobilization of emergency personnel in the history of the United States. The tour explores the stories of individual responders and honors the courage of the more than 400 first responders who sacrificed their lives to save others during and after the attack. This tour is only given 1 minute 2 times per day, so be sure to book your tickets in advance to secure your place on the tour. You can purchase tickets online at https://www.911memorial.org/museum tour. Tickets cost for adults with discounts for college students, senior citizens, New York City first responders, veterans, and active duty members of the military. Choose the Understanding 9/11 tour for more insight into the attack. This 60-minute tour is designed for people who have a clear understanding of the events of 9/11 but are interested in learning about the events leading up to the attack. Members of the tour examine artifacts from the attack and discuss the modern significance of 9/11. Tickets for the tour are for adults, and there are discounts for college students, senior citizens, New York City first responders, veterans, and active duty members of the military. You can select the date, time and type of tour at https://www.911memorial.org/museum tour. Visiting the memorial without a guide. Plan to spend at least 2 hours at the museum and memorial. Visit the grounds of the memorial for free any day of the week between 7:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. and check out the museum with a ticket between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m. When you purchase a ticket to the museum, there is a time printed on the ticket that will tell you when you can be admitted to the museum. General admission to the museum is for adults, and there are discounts available for students, senior citizens, children, and veterans. You can buy tickets online at https://www.911memorial.org/visit museum-1 or at the museum. On Tuesdays, the museum offers free admission after 5 p.m. on a first-come, first-served basis. If you're planning to buy tickets at the museum, remember that entrance to the museum is prohibited starting 2 hours before the closing time of the museum. Download the 9/11 audio app to guide you through the museum. This free app includes recordings, explanations, and facts about the events of 9/11, the construction of the museum, and much more. You can listen to individual explanations based on your location or choose to take a guided tour through the app. The app is free for anyone to use and can be downloaded onto a smartphone through the App Store or Google Play Store. If English isn't your native language, the app is also available in American Sign Language, Chinese Mandarin Simplified, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Portuguese, and Spanish. Visit the 9/11 Memorial Museum to see artifacts and recordings of the event. The museum is located at the center of the World Trade Center and includes artifacts, testimony, and exhibits that explore the events and implications of 9/11. It commemorates the lives of each individual who died in the attacks in 2001 and 1993, as well as the resilience of the U.S. as a whole. The museum also has rotating exhibits, such as Sports After 9/11, FEMA photographs of 9/11, and artists' responses to 9/11. Walk through the Memorial Plaza to enjoy a peaceful moment. If you don't want to purchase a ticket, you can visit the Memorial Plaza anytime from 7:30 a.m. In the plaza, you'll find trees from areas affected by the attacks on 9/11, including Pennsylvania and Washington, D.C. There are benches and tables throughout the plaza where you can rest. In the plaza, look for the survivor tree, which was found in October 2001 in the rubble of the collapsed towers. After extensive rehabilitation, the tree was returned to the plaza in 2010 to serve as a reminder of the resilience exhibited by all those who were affected by the attacks. Pay respect to the victims at the memorial pools. The twin pools are located in the Memorial Plaza and have the names of the victims etched into the stone around them. This area, which is also free to enter, has become a gathering place for those who want to remember the events and the victims. At the North Pool, you will find the names of the victims from the North Tower, Flight 11, and the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. Around the South Pool are the names of the victims from the South Tower, Flight 175, Flight 93, Flight 77, the Pentagon, and the first responders who perished while working to rescue others. Visit the Freedom Tower to take in amazing views of New York City. In the years since 9/11, a new tower has been constructed at One World Trade Center called the Freedom Tower. You can ride up to the 102nd floor and view NYC from a new vantage point. At the top, there's a restaurant, observatory deck, and interactive exhibit. On the lower floors, there are exhibits that showcase a live stream of various cities from around the world and an excavated section of the bedrock under most of New York City. There is also a large gift shop and photo screen to commemorate your trip. Ensuring a positive visit. Maintain a respectful and somber attitude during your visit. It's important to remember that the events that took place in these areas can be very emotional for some people. Speak in a quiet tone, avoid taking silly pictures of yourself or others, and always be respectful of those who are visiting the museum and memorial. Due to the graphic nature of some of the exhibits and images, some individuals may become upset. If you or someone in your group becomes overwhelmed, find a quiet place to regroup, like a less intense exhibit or outside in the memorial plaza. Take pictures and video only where photography is allowed. In most areas of the memorial plaza and at the waterfall, personal photography is allowed. However, inside of the museum, there are areas where photography is off limits. Be sure to pay attention to signs and turn off the flash function when necessary to avoid disrupting others or harming the artifacts. If you're not sure whether or not you're allowed to take a picture in a certain area, look for an employee who can answer your question. It's better to ask first to make sure. Prepare to go through security before entering the memorial and museum. Try to pack light for your trip, as bags larger than 17 by 8 inches 43 by 20 cm will not be permitted into the memorial or museum. To enter the museum, you and your bag will have to pass through a metal detector for safety purposes. At the museum, there are lockers available for large bags. Lockers are not available at the memorial, so remember to carry only a small bag. Visit a restroom near the memorial before entering. The Memorial Plaza and waterfalls don't have a public restroom for visitors. The closest public restrooms are located at Wagner Park or Battery Park, so make a stop there before you go to the memorial. In the museum, there are restrooms available to visitors who have an admission ticket. During weekdays between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., you can use the public restroom at Federal Hall on Wall Street. Exit the museum when you've finished visiting all of the exhibits. The museum has strict rules about re-entry. Once you leave the museum, you can't re-enter with your ticket. Before you leave, check the museum map to make sure you visited all of the exhibits that you wanted to see and didn't miss anything that you were interested in. If you've scheduled a tour that includes the price of museum admission, plan to visit the museum after the tour to give yourself enough time to see everything you would like to see.